today I'd like to show you how to fix the hem on your pants. There's different types of hems. As you can see, some pant hems you can see the stitching on the outside, and this type of hem you could fix on a sewing machine if you have one and you know how to use it. You could also use the technique I'm going to show you today just to help keep it up so that they're not making you trip. I'm going to use a pair of men's dress pants. As you can see on the outside, you don't see the stitching. This is because they use something called a blind stitch, and it's a special machine that uses one piece of thread to sew through and not show through the front. The problem with this is if you get it caught in just the right way, you can pull out the entire seam. So how do we fix this? I have a pair here where the thread has come out entirely, so now the hem is falling down. What you need is just a needle and thread, and I'm using red so that you can see my stitches, but you really want to use a thread that matches the fabric of your pants, or you can even use this technique on a skirt or shorts or whatever you need to fix the hem on. And you'll also need just a pair of scissors. So I'm just going to grab some thread. I usually take about an arm's length. You don't want to grab too much thread because then it'll just get twisted up and in your way. Then you're going to take your thread, your needle. You want to start with a clean cut end of your thread because it helps get it through the eye of the needle easier. And I know you probably can't see this, but you're just going to want to get the thread through the eye or the hole in the needle and pull it through so you have a nice long tail. Then you're going to take the other end of your thread, and I cheat. So I take the end of my thread and I fold it over about an inch or so, and then I tie a knot with the folded thread. And this gives me a double knot without having to tie it twice and trying to get the second knot on top of the first knot, and it's all kinds of craziness. But so it's not pretty, but it's a knot and it'll hold and you're not going to see it. So once we have our needle and thread all set, we're going to take the pants, and you can do this on just a section if you need to, or the whole pant leg. It depends on how much of the hem has come down. So first, I'm going to refer to this folded up section as the hem, and the other piece is the pant leg. So if you hear me say hem, I'm talking about this folded piece that's folded up. So we're going to start between the two layers of fabric, and I'm going to stick my needle in between through the hem about a 1/4 inch down. If you can see, this has some stitching along the edge. It's called overlock stitching, and you can use that as a guide. You could just stick the needle out at the bottom of that stitching. So you're going to pull it through till the knot hits the back, and you won't see it because it's between the fabric. Okay, so now we're going to go straight up from where the thread is coming out, and we're going to grab a tiny bit from the pant leg. So we're going just above where the hem stops, and I'm going to grab a tiny bit of fabric. Right here I'm on the side seam, so there's a little extra fabric I can go through, which is helpful, but we're going to pull it all the way through. And now we're going to go back between the two layers about a 1/2 inch over. So a 1/2 inch over from our first stitch, go between the two layers, and we're going about a 1/2 inch down from the edge and pull through. So you see most of our thread is between the two layers, so you don't see it. And it also helps so that you don't catch your toe or whatever on the thread and pull it out. Just makes it less likely that you will pull out your stitching. So again, we're going to go straight up from where the thread came out and just take the tiniest stitch possible. Even a couple of threads is enough, and pull all the way through. You want to keep your stitches even so that if there is a tiny pucker or if you see a tiny bit of thread on the outside, it looks even and not so messy. So again, we're going to go about a 1/2 inch over, in between the two fabrics, and come out about a 1/4 inch down, or at the bottom of that stitching there, and pull. So I want to show you on the outside, you can't see any threads. I've been doing this for a while, so if you're just beginning and you do see little puckers or stitches, that's fine. Nobody's really going to notice when it's down at the bottom of, your pants. I've also seen people staple or tape their pant hems up when they fall in, so you're ahead of the game already if you're sewing your pants up. Again, we're going to take a little tiny stitch. And I know it seems like it's not going to hold, but I promise it will, and as you keep, you're going to be doing a lot of stitches, so the weight of the fabric is distributed amongst those stitches, and it will hold. Let's just do one more, so we're going between the fabrics, out a 1/4 inch down, and going straight up onto the pant leg, and taking our tiny, tiny stitch. Now you keep going as long as you need to. You go all the way around if you have to, or if you just want to reinforce and make sure the rest of it doesn't come out, if it hasn't already. But eventually you're going to need to stop. I'm going to come down here onto the folded fabric and take a bigger chunk than we've been taking, so a bigger stitch. Pull it through, and then we're going to take another decent chunk and pull it until we get just a loop. And we're going to put the needle through that loop and pull. And as you're sewing, you're going to need, see this tail here might get in your way, so you just want to pull on your needle just to give yourself some more thread to work with, so that tail is not getting in your way. And once again, we're going to take just a little stitch, pull till we have a loop, and put the needle through the loop and pull. And that creates knots so that your threading won't come undone. I'm just going to cut that off, and now you've fixed your hem. Thanks for watching. If you liked this video or found it helpful, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel for more sewing tips. Thanks. So long.